Shalom, this is Ashar Bayan Sarella out of the Lions Den camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. First and foremost, I would like to give our praises, honor, and glory to the Father and the Son and the proper true Hebrew tongue, the Paleo Hebrew, Lashwan Kodash. Call Halam La, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Awashai, Ba'ashim, Harabakah Kodash Ma'amaf. Also, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS. Double honors to our apostles as well, Ahar One Masharallah. Peace and blessings to the 1/3, and salutations to the whole elect. This is gonna be a quick little, it's like a quick little lesson. Just going in on Yahweh Shai. That's like it. Ultimately, Yahweh Shai being meat. And that's the same spirit we're supposed to be in right now. You know, even though he's in the heavens right now, on the right hand side of the Father, in his heavenly form. You know, as in Revelation 1:13, you'll get that. This is Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. It says, in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one unlike the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot. All right. So yeah, the men of the Lord, the true men of the Lord, with true sincerity, they're on the highways and byways with garments down to the foot, as any pastor, preacher, you know, which is synonymous to the word prophet, should be doing. You know, prophets go out and teach, and on the highways and byways and street corners, and they're prophets meaning they pro meaning see, and it's like your pro meaning before, and sa meaning to see. So they say the things that the Lord said are going to be done before they happen, which of course what's going to happen to this place, Jacob's trouble and nuclear destruction, and of course the Yahweh coming back. All right. It says, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and then girt about the paps with a golden girdle. You know, and the paps is around the chest area, the breast area, the golden girdle. His head and his hairs are white like wool. Wool, you know, our people, man. As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. You know, ultimately, that fiery judgment that he has for two of our people and Esau and these heathens. You know, that's that anger. You know, he has nothing. He has righteous indignations coming for our people. All right, and his feet like unto fine brass, as they burn into a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Of course, the fine brass as they burn into the furnace. Your feet will be the same color as the rest of your body, unless you have a skin disease or pigmentation problem or whatever. So, Lord is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. And this is him in his heavenly body, which John the Revelator saw on the Isle of Patmos. All right. Nonetheless, it was around 93 AD. So nonetheless, this is what the Lord does want for his people is to be have peace reign forever. You know, to have to ultimately wear white clothing as he will in the day of judgment. But ultimately we have to we're rehearsing the righteous acts right now though. So right now we're in this mindset. It's like I'm gonna read John 15 real quick. This is John chapter 15:15. Just going to another part that Yahweh Shai wants to be like where his brothers, he's our king. He wants to call us, you know, brothers and sisters. This John 15:15 says, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. I think it says brothers. Oh no. Oh shoot. It's like it's what I mean. It's Matthew chapter 12:50. It says, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father Yahweh, which is in heaven, the same as my brother and sister and mother. All right. So that's what I was trying to get. We're ultimately the Yahweh Shai's, we're his brother, you know, and we're his friend, you know. We're doing the will of the Father, and he's ultimately the Father is telling us what to do, through Yahushua. All right. So he is conducting us to go on highways and byways, street corners, and tell our people what to do. All right. And how to get salvation. All right. And this is Song of Solomon, and it's going into the fact that we're supposed to be meek. Song of Solomon to the 1 and 5. It says, "I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon." All right. So some will break this down as I am black, as in actually black the color, but that's not what we were even called for the past just like 3,000 years old. You know, um, ultimately, yeah, we're called black and white. Well, yeah, shoot, I said it. Um, around 1600s, man. That's before that they were called what they were actually called. Esau was, the Europeans, and so they were probably called their type of names and stuff. You had Scipio Africanus and Columbus and Amerigo Vespucci around that time. Um, Nonetheless, yeah, we weren't called that for all the time. No, that's not how it works. We were the children of Israel, so we were called Israelites. We were called Jews. Jews is a proverb anyways. It's a byword proverb, for Judah. All right, but it says, "I am black but comely." The word black meaning poor, or down low or meek, basically, a poverty. So it says, "I am black," meaning poverty, but comely, which means a delicate looking, and beautiful. So even though we are a poverty nation, physically, even now, there are princes walking as servants, and servants on horses. Going into Esau being being a base man, but ultimately being exalted through the sword, and that's being the servants of the day, but ultimately being the kings of the earth. It's just is topsy turvy, and the Lord is going to make that correct. He's going to correct that, because he was the one that allowed Esau to get to this level, but he's going to have that same. He's going to allow Esau's kingdom to fall and our kingdom to rise. Not to flip all the way back to where Esau was once upon a time a base man. He's not going to have it like that. He's going to have it to where they in the same level they are now, because this is the reason why they are getting destroyed, because they're so prideful. So Esau didn't have the same prideful that he got right now, and Jake can go back to being kings when that's above any kingdom. That's above any kingdom that any heathen will establish, because it's gonna be established in righteousness under Yahushua. That's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be in meekness and righteousness forever and ever and ever. No, what's it called? No unrighteousness. No, the law gonna be in the prophets and the people's inward parts. So no idolatry and adultery and murder. None of all the bad stuff that usually Israel does to go against the Lord's will. To go against the Lord's law. This is Matthew chapter 21:5. It says, "I tell you, the daughters of Zion, behold, the King cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and a colt that the foal of an ass." All right. So this is Yahushua. He came into town on a donkey, man. He came in town on an ass. Unlike native IOIC, Nate the Snake, he coming to Passover on a white horse. That's only supposed to be for Yahushua coming on doing on a white horse, man. Coming in glorified. But nah, the men of the world wanted to be glorified. Yahushua, when he first came on the earth, he came meek. He came as a healer, and a redeemer, for the ones that cast him out and want him to be in prison, and want him dead. He's coming back for ultimately judgment, righteous judgment, righteous indignation, because the 2/3 that they have done that, they have to be destroyed for that. And the 1/3 that actually follow them all the way to the end until their death and are still here today, spiritually and of course physically, been the reincarnations of them, of the same people that wanted to follow Yahushua. He's coming to save them and redeem them, and give them salvation. This is Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord Yahweh is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the openings of the prisons to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn." All right. So, man, this is what the Lord is sending His prophets to do, and this is what the Lord wants to get done. We anyone that's free or bond, anyone that's low, right, in the society, which everyone is, ain't nobody gonna be really too good in this society. But nonetheless, the Lord is offering us salvation. And ultimately the meek shall inherit the earth. Because most likely you can be poverty, because the Lord is looking for your regular Joe Schmo. He's not looking for not many noble, not many mighty. Not many rich are called to this. It's gonna be your regular Joe Schmoes. You don't got to be super. What is it? I'm almost like the prayer, but it might take me a second. But ultimately, the Lord, you should want the Lord to give you what you need. Simple as that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we should want salvation, and we should want to keep this blessing that is through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And of course, you're a man, going highways and byways, and keep teaching, and wake up the elect, hope for elect, and pray and hope that you part of the elect. Or Yahweh part of the elect. So, nonetheless, man, it's about having a meek spirit. Knowing that you're black and common, knowing that you're a prophet. Of course, prophet physically, that means nothing. That means you meek. Ultimately, you're a common though, because you're a beautiful, beautiful people. We are Yasharallah. He's the Prince of Power. That's our name. All right, and it's a duty for the men to go on how the Bible and teach. All right, to and follow laws to the best of your ability, and wake up our people, man. The elect is what we need. All right, but Yahweh Zad, I was edifying a little lesson with that. That's a shalom.